know I got the receipts, girl. You know I got the receipts. Cellars is the monthly wine club that matches you with wine that you'll love. Get started by taking the Taste Palette quiz to see your personalized matches. Now, Bright Cellars matches you with wines from all over the world, curated to your taste buds. They are focused on finding unique hidden gems from small vineyards all over the world. And with hundreds of private label wines, you'll be able to try a new wine you've never tasted before. All you need to do is take their 7-question quiz so they can gather your taste preferences and deliver wines you're guaranteed to love. Each box is completely unique to your taste palette, meaning no box is ever the same. Each box comes with wine education cards for each bottle that outline the tasting notes, suggested pairings, best serving temperatures, and its origins. Wine wisdom cards help show you how to store and open your wine, keeping it tasting fresh for longer. Now, all Sweet Pea Diaries viewers will get 60% off your first purchase by clicking on the link in the description box below. Thanks again to Bright Cellars Wines for sponsoring this video. Hey you guys, welcome back to the Sweet Pea Diaries. It's your girl Sweet Pea and I am back with another video. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. And if you are a new subscriber, welcome to the Sweet Pea Diaries. Be sure to like this video, share this video, but most importantly, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And again, of course, we would like to thank Bright Cellars Wines for being a proud sponsor of this video. Now tonight, you guys, we have part 2, episode 2 in our Hollywood deep dive. We are covering secret societies tonight. That's right, secret societies of Hollywood. We're going to be discussing the elites, the dark secrets, the dark cults, some of the groups that exist, some of the religions passing off as religions, but they're really cults. We're going to get into it tonight. So, a quick disclaimer. If you are not into this type of material, please exit the building. It's going to be full of conspiracy theories tonight. So, if you're not into that type of stuff, go ahead and check out some of our other videos while we're over here deep diving into Hollywood. All right. Had to get that out the way really quick. Who we got in the building? Let's do a quick check-in. I see Mrs. Jordan is in the building. Deion Sanders, Laverne Hicks, Carla, the red lipstick hustler, Lily. Hey, Laverne. Hey, Lily. Hey, Carla. Hey, Deion. Hey, Miss Jordan. Y'all up with me tonight? Y'all know that I get started late sometimes. So I thank you for being here. Yeah, we're going to get into it now. We're going to get started. So let's jump right into it, y'all. Now, what we got going on in Hollywood? Now, Hollywood, we got the dark Hollywood and we got elite Hollywood. All right. Now, is there really a difference in who belongs where? Now, there seems to be a great amount of people who think that Hollywood, it does have its twists and turns when it comes to its foundations, but some people have generalized it as a dark Hollywood and an elite, when in reality many people don't even really know the difference. All right, but they're like, we got the dark Hollywood, we got elite people, but they don't even know what the difference is. So let's try to dive into the difference and see. Now, we know that Hollywood is one big playground, and all celebrities, they fall into different groups. Not everyone in Hollywood gets equal treatment, equal pay, and equal headlines, and we know this. So let's jump into these categories. All right, now we have the elites. The elites, they are the celebrities who are, making an impact. All right, and these celebrities, they get the A-list treatment. Okay, they're the ones who are considered royalty. They're A-listers who get the most popular movie roles and songs, and most of these elite celebrities are the ones who don't believe that the law applies to them. They're also celebrities that have seniority and long-lasting impact. These qualities don't only make them elite, but it also makes them get away with things that like the normal person wouldn't be able to get away with. All right, so who are these elites? We got A-list status, household names. You see them playing on the screen. We got people like Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, Mariah Carey, Britney Spears, Michael Jackson, David Bowie, Beyonce. Y'all get my drift of who these A-list celebrities are. Now, don't get me wrong, we do got some other little celebrities, Ariana, Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, but they're not elites. Okay, we're talking about primary elites, celebrities who've been impacting Hollywood since the 80s and the 90s. Like I said, Michael Jackson, Beyonce, David Bowie, Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt. These are the elites. Okay, now we're gonna break down the difference in who gets away with what, and are they the dirty, dark elites? We're gonna get into that. Now, we do have a secondary group, and these are the secondary elites. And who are they? All right, well, the secondary elites are a form of elite Hollywood, and it has to do with celebrities who have tasted the elite world, but they don't hold much power in terms of dark matters. Okay, however, secondary elite is more, they've enjoyed the lavish lifestyle with certain perks, of course. Now, secondary elite celebrities are people like Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, Nick Cannon, Kim Kardashian, just to name a few. And of course, then you have your sub-level elite celebrities, and those are the ones, they're not really irrelevant. All right, they're people that paparazzi wouldn't even recognize if they walked up. The D-listers, the reality TV stars, they're the ones that they'll basically do whatever it takes to get into Hollywood. They're gonna be the ones that sitting at the party and just begging to be invited to the party. Those celebrities. Okay, the Love and Hip Hop crew. All right, so those are the sub-level ones. But the secondary, we got Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, Nick Cannon, Kim Kardashian. These are the people that they got a little bit of influence, they got a little bit of money, they have tasted the lavish lifestyle, and they get to entertain certain perks, of course, right? But now we get into the dark versus elite. Who do you think is in that dark Hollywood? Who do you think is in that elite Hollywood? Now, some celebrities in elite Hollywood, they are victims and contributors to dark Hollywood. But dark Hollywood doesn't always line up with elite Hollywood. So there is, of course, not a Google definition. I don't got no Britannica, definition for dark Hollywood versus elite, but I'm going to just try to define it in to the best of my ability. Okay. Now, dark Hollywood is one of the most, now all jokes aside, you guys, when we start talking about dark Hollywood, it is one of the most scariest, nastiest, unimaginable foundations of Hollywood. Okay, this is where people with money and power, they abuse their abilities onto countless victims. Dark Hollywood and abuse will always go synonymous. They will always go hand in hand with each other. Every bad thing that you can think of has been done in dark Hollywood. And no, I'm not talking about your faves doing drugs and stuff like that, doing meth and coke and all that. I'm not talking about those type of dark things. I'm not talking about them cheating on their spouses or, getting pulled over and got DUIs and stuff. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about murder, sexual assaults, rape parties, cult killings, brainwashing, child trafficking, industry control, islands designated for pedophile hotspots. We know that these things go on. I mean, Epstein Island, we know. Now, dark Hollywood is so beyond messed up that I can't really even put it into a video and put it into words, because just those things that I've mentioned, YouTube is probably not gonna monetize this video. I mean, those are hot words, okay? They are hot words. So they're probably gonna just say, nope, strike, can't monetize it, limited ads. But we know that Hollywood, dark Hollywood, it goes down. Also, when I say people with power, I'm not talking about Kim Kardashian or Taylor Swift, none of that. I'm talking about people that are public figures that are also hiding in between the shadows just enough so they don't get caught. People that are in politics and they are in high positions. Now, before you start saying, you don't know nothing about this, Sweet Pea, you're really going to sit out here and say they having rape parties. Like, come on, Sweet Pea. Now, before you start coming at me in the comments, let me just explain what I mean by all this. Now, if I have an elite, powerful celebrity and I want a certain control on something that they can give me that equals elite Hollywood and dark Hollywood, that's where the concept of the rape parties come in. Let's put it this way. Out of 10 elite celebrities, 7 of them or 8 of them are actually victims of dark Hollywood, while the other 3 or 2 are actually helping dark Hollywood. Now, when I say this, I'm saying also victims of dark Hollywood, they are not always the elite, but celebrities helping contribute usually are. That's where the two terms come and they cross paths and they intermingle with each other. Okay. Now, most elite Hollywood celebrities, they are victims of knowing about the dark Hollywood, or they're being used as pawns because they know about dark Hollywood. And we have already announced what dark Hollywood is and what they are doing and what they're taking part in. So I do not have to repeat it. But most celebrities know that these things happen. Okay, they know that they are happening. Dark Hollywood will control elite Hollywood and use them to cover up or distract the general public. And when this happens, this means that the government and politics are involved, and that is on a whole nother scale. All right. Now, I'm telling you, you can believe it if you want. It can be a conspiracy, but I'm going to tell you that these are things that they have been exposed, and the public has, look, see, they have probably struck my video. It looks like I might have been struck, you guys. Give me a moment. Let me know. Let me know if you guys can still hear me, because I'm looking at my stream and it doesn't look like my stream might be working. It says an error has occurred. So let me know if you guys still hear me out there. Please let me know if you hear me, because it's looking like my stream might have been, okay, you guys can hear me? Okay, well, they are showing me over here that my stream is interrupted. It's saying that an error has occurred, okay? So, I'm telling y'all, and y'all still can see it? Y'all can still see everything? Because, see, I don't know what they doing, child. I don't know what the YouTube is over here doing. They might have done told me, child. And no, girl. Yeah, we see Hollywood. Okay, you guys can see it? Okay. All right, well, let's just get back into it because this is some deep stuff, okay? And you guys know I was going to go there, okay? We were going to go there. We were at when we were going to do this deep dive, we knew that it was going to get deep, okay? And they have recently been exposed for, there's been things coming to the forefront of what goes down. So dark Hollywood, like I said, they will control elite Hollywood and use them to cover up or distract the general public. And when this happens, this means that the government and politics are often involved, and that's a whole nother scale. The difference is that elite Hollywood is the branch of Hollywood where the rich have their issues, but it's nothing as dark as dark Hollywood. Now, what's elite Hollywood? Let's break it down. Now, when you're in elite Hollywood, you're getting paid $8 million at least for a movie role, right? Maybe 8 million, 10 million. You're buying an award that holds high achievements. You're headlining the Super Bowl. You're ordering around really famous but not as famous type of people as you. But you're ordering around these little people under you. You're being invited to the most prestigious parties. You're getting high. Usually they're getting high and partying, they're having their PR managers make a video of them being really, popular. And then they're, what they're doing in their limousines and their cars. And then they got them sending it out to the blogs and stuff. They're really looking like they're living that life. They're on social media all the time. They got the ability to threaten people and try to get them to do things that they wouldn't normally do, but they're not going to really go through with the things. But they just threaten them, like, if you don't do this, I'm going to have your job, or you're not going to be able to hang around anymore, and you're not going to be able to be invited to, they're usually acting like that. When they're in elite Hollywood, they think that they're on top of the world, okay? They really that bull, they really that girl. Now, when you're in dark Hollywood, now that's a whole nother level, honey. It's usually might be some type of brainwashing activity going on, industry control, such as having an attack at your concert to distract people from what's going on. Do we know something like that happened recently? Setting out certain places where CP and molestation is going on. You're out there around these people. Getting rid of certain celebrities. You might have the ability to do that when you're in dark Hollywood. Being invited to cult meetings. Sacrifices. Celebrities' refusal to participate means harming their loved ones. These are all rumors and conspiracy theories that we've heard about dark Hollywood. Do we think that they're true? Drop down in the comments. Drop down, let me know. What do you think? Having the power to threaten people and going through with the threats. Now, this is just, when you're in dark Hollywood, you can actually go through with the threats. But see, in elite Hollywood, you just, you tinker around with it. But in dark Hollywood, you can actually have the power to go through with these things. Now, also remember, politics and politicians, they fall into dark Hollywood as well. You may think that they're not into Hollywood, but what do you think the media is? What do you think that is? What do you think the media is? So what do you guys think? Do you think this stuff is true? Didi says no. She doesn't think so. Alexa says, hell yeah, that stuff is true. I really want to know what you guys think. You have to sacrifice the loved ones you love, Alexa says. You guys drop down in the comments when you catch this replay. Alexa says, that ain't nothing but the devil. They was trying to mess with me. I'm telling you, trying to mess with my stream. Okay? But we ain't gonna pay it no mind. We just gonna keep it going. Now let's look into a couple of secret groups. Now, if you do not believe me about these activities that take place in Hollywood, let's look at a couple groups that are actually public, that have been exposed, and we know that things have occurred publicly. These things have been exposed. So let's look at, the activities that they have been exposed and found to be doing. Let's take a look at it. And then you let me know. We got Nexium. You guys remember Nexium? Nexium was an MLM group, which is a multi-level marketing scheme, and they turned into a sex cult. It seduced Hollywood stars and some of America's most powerful elite. The organization had been operating for nearly 2 decades under the guise of offering self-help deprogramming to heiresses of, companies, Hollywood actors, and powerful CEOs. But after one survivor came forward to the New York Times, Nexium had finally been exposed for what it was, and that was a barbaric organization that abused its members emotionally and physically. Okay, there is a 9-part documentary on HBO, and it is called The Vow. It's a great piece. I suggest you go and watch it. And they expose this organization. It's a deep dive on the origin and downfall of Nexium, which was founded by Keith Raniere. Now, he served as the group's spiritual guru and leader. Raniere was known as the vanguard within the organization. He founded Nexium in Albany, New York in 1998, along with a woman named Nancy Salzman, and she was known as the organization's prefect. Now, HBO's documentary is guided by interview footage from many once high-ranking inner circle members of Nexium. Okay, they was exposing this group. The first episode actually treads lightly into the world of the organization, giving an overview of the executive success programs. They were called ESPs within Nexium, which people first entered the organization through. Now, the ESPs were marketed as a set of personal and professional developmental courses, and these courses taught strategies for the participants to overcome their limiting beliefs, fears, and anxieties, and they were supposed to realize their full potential in life. Okay, but rewiring your brain to learn Raniere's framework of human experience, it came at a very steep price. Okay, the cost for the first course, and it was a 5-day intensive course, it was $2,700. Now, from 1998 to 2018, there were over 16,000 people who completed ESP courses at centers all across United States, Canada, and Mexico. So can you imagine $2,700 a piece, $1,600? That's a lot. 1,600 people at $2,700 a piece is a lot of money. Now, the scientific technique taught in these programs, trademarked as rational inquiry by Raniere, they were basically just expensive voluntary mind control, really. These people were voluntarily signing up to be mind controlled. Now, Raniere, he was held as a godlike savior within the company. And in the documentary, the subjects that were being interviewed, they recount overcoming anxieties, phobias, and actually witnessing people have medical conditions such as obsessive compulsive disorder and Tourette's cured by his method. Now, they really believed that this man was curing these people. The Dalai Lama even visited Albany to commend him on his work in 2009. Now, these success programs, they had a 12-point mission statement that was read aloud before each session began. Now, one such point purports that there are no ultimate victims, therefore I will not choose to be a victim. Now, that sounds great. A lot of these groups, they masquerade this way, like they are giving a person sound advice. You're going to be illuminated. You're going to get all this information, but it is really a cult. They're really controlling you. They're taking your money. But that sounds great. There are no ultimate victims. Therefore, I will not choose to be a victim. Students sign NDAs on the ESP session material before they began. And in these classes, they had to adhere to ritualistic practices like removing their shoes, wearing different colored sashes to denote which ranking they were. And they had and stand where a higher ranking member entered the room. So if someone that was higher ranking entered the room, you had to stand up. All greetings with Keith Raniere included a kiss on the mouth. So when he came in the room, people had to kiss him on the mouth. And now they had 17-hour sessions. That was what got me. They would be outside. No, you couldn't, no inside world, nothing. 17 hours a day, alienated from the world. And the ESP class was just the entry point into this Nexium. After that, it was on and popping. That was just the beginning. They had so many different levels. High-ranking members of the organization would live together in commune-like housing, and they would instruct classes and sessions, usually without being paid. Now, they had a women's-only program. It was entitled Ness, and a men's-only program called the Society of Protectors, and a fitness-focused program called EXO. Now, celebrities, CEOs, and affluent figures, including Smallville's Allison Mack and the Liquor Seagrams, their daughters, Sarah and Claire Bronfman, they were among notable members of this cult. Now, in the documentary that HBO had, they detail Rainier's history of the multi-level marketing fraud in the early 90s before he founded Nexium, as well as testimonials from participants who suffered hallucinations and psychotic episodes following these grueling ESP sessions. But the damning profile didn't stop the organization from continuing to prosper into to nearly 2 decades. So, I mean, no matter what these people was doing, people was still joining, child. And like I said, celebrities were joining. It was just a mess. Now, in 2017, we remember that someone came out, the girl, Sarah Edmondson. She was an actress, and she came out publicly filing a complaint against this group. She said that her initiation into DOS required her to send naked photos of herself as collateral to her master, whom she was recruited by to be a slave, and was completed when Sarah, being blindfolded, was held down naked on a massage table and instructed to say, "Master, please brand me. It would be an honor." Now, she was then branded with a small symbol with Keith Rainier's initials near her pelvis area. Now, the women in DOS were also required to be on call 24 hours a day. They would be punished with starvation if they did not respond to a text from their master within 60 seconds. And several were assigned to have sex with Rainier as well. Now, in 2017, when the media got a hold of this, the DOS ritual is what finally woke many members up to the evils of this organization, and many of them left. And then Rainier, what did he do? He fled to Mexico. But in February 2018, a complaint was issued in federal court requesting an arrest warrant for him. After all of this, child, this man actually, he got 120 years in prison. He was charged with various crimes, including sex trafficking, forced labor. He pleaded not guilty, of course, but honey, he was found guilty, and honey, they gave this man 120 years in prison. Now, what do you think happened after that? A lot of people filed lawsuits. 80 people came forward filing lawsuits against this organization. Now, what do we think the next group? Who do you think I'm going to call out? What is it giving with this next group? Now, y'all have heard of these people. Scientology. Now, we know Will and Jada has been accused of being members of this organization. Now, the next group is the infamous Scientology organization. There are a host of celebrities, including John Travolta, Tom Cruise. They are members of this group. Even Will Smith and Jada, like I said, have been thought to be members, but they have denied it, of course. And we all know the story of Leah Remini and how she left the organization. And upon her leaving, they actually tried to slander her image. And, she even said they tried to blackball her. Now, according to the founder, I don't know, do you even know? Did you guys know that L. Ron Hubbard actually founded Scientology? You remember back in the 80s, he had that book, Dianetics. You remember that? Well, he is the founder of Scientology. He has some really strange ideas, okay? Now, within 4 years of him writing the book, he published this book in the 1950, but it actually, in the 80s, I think they republished it, or it really became popular back then. But the book ushered in the movement that expanded into this religion, the Church of Scientology. And since then, especially in recent years, the church has been surrounded by controversy due to its questionable methods of coercion, which included stalking, blackmail, and kidnapping. And we know that the Miscavige, the leader Miscavige, his wife Shelley Miscavige, has been missing for years. People have not seen this woman, which is another reason Leah Remini, she was exposing this church. The man's wife went missing and ain't never been seen, and people think that he did something to his wife. Now, such methods aside, the Church of Scientology has also elicited controversy for its interesting beliefs. Now, according to L. Ron Hubbard, Scientology's fundamental creation myth goes something like this, okay? Now, this is the mess that celebrities are buying into. Now, his myth goes like this. A creator named Xenu, once ruler of the Galactic Confederacy, which is an ancient organization of 76 planets, okay? He is the founder of this. Having existed for 20 million years, the planets were struggling from extreme overpopulation. Fearing that he'd be thrown out of power, Xenu gathered billions of his people, froze them to capture their souls, these were called the Thetans, and transported them to Earth. And back then, Earth was called Tejik. He transferred them to Tejik for elimination. He dumped them at the bottom of volcanoes and then destroyed them in a series of nuclear explosions, killing all but a few and sending their souls into the air. Once in the air, the souls were captured by Xenu, who then implanted into them misleading information, including concepts related to all of the world's religions. After this evil was carried out, Xenu was eventually imprisoned, and Earth was left to be a mere prison planet by the Galactic Confederacy. Are you listening to this? Scientologists are not permitted to learn this story until they have advanced well into the church's ranks and have spent thousands of dollars to do so, because every time you got to go up to a new rank, you have to pay to get to those ranks. So you just imagine telling these people a story like that in the beginning when they ain't spent no damn money. People gonna go flying out the doors. But the manipulation and the con of it all is that they are not told this until they get high ranking, and then they start to be told this information. Now, because of such value, the church will routinely deny the existence of this story to outsiders or even low-level church members, because they say, no, we're not saying that, but really they are. But they will deny it when they're confronted with it and say, no, this isn't a story that we don't have a story like this. Now, the frozen Thetans of the Xenu story, they go on to play a huge role in Scientology beliefs. Each human has their own Thetan, and Scientologists strive to purify these spirits through auditing sessions until they reach a state of clear. So your inner Thetan has to constantly be audited, and meaning you have to go in these grueling sessions where they they question you and they audit you until your inner Thetan is purified. Now, auditing is one of the central practices of Scientology, in which practitioners are cleared of negative influence called egrams to heighten spiritual awareness and access untapped potential. The Church of Scientology has stated the procedure is 100% effective as long as it is done properly and the recipient is truly seeking change. Happily for the Church of Scientology, auditing is also expensive. It is estimated that reaching clear costs $128,000. So to get up into clear, where you are woke, where you have untapped potential being harnessed, It's gonna cost you. It might cost you a little, it might cost you a lot, but it's damn sure gonna cost you $128,000. Now, after becoming clear and learning how to fully embrace and control the capacities in all thetans, the practitioner is now known as an operating thetan, an OT. Now, according to Scientology and OT, they are not limited by physical form or the physical universe. According to the church itself, OT is a state of spiritual awareness in which an individual is able to control themselves and their environment. So once you pay that $128,000, you're going to be clear, you're going to become a thetan, and you're going to be, not a thetan, an operating thetan. And you're going to be able to control yourself and the environment. You're going to have superpowers, okay? You're going to have superpowers. From there, many OT levels exist, all of which promise increasingly awe-inspiring knowledge and powers, and which of course cost more and more money to attain. At OT level 3, for example, practitioners are able to hear the Xenu story. Then that story that I just told y'all about the galactic universe. Once they get to OT level 3, that's when they start telling them about this story, after they done paid $128,000. Because then if you go ahead and leave, or you want to leave, they done got $128,000 out you. But let me tell you how they keep you from leaving. Now, according to official Scientology doctrine, reading and reacting to other people is the key to being successful. Scientology says that most people are simply no good at connecting an apparent outward emotion to its true inner emotion. Created to take the mystery out of human behavior, they have this tone scale. Now, the tone scale teaches Scientologists how to read people and provide the appropriate emotional response. The tone scale runs from -40 to 40. The higher on the scale you are, the better. A score of 40 is described as being serenity of beingness. A 1.1 is considered covert hostility, smiling on the outside, but in the inside your ass is plotting. They said a 1.1 is a covert hostility. You kikiing and you looking at somebody laughing, but in the inside your ass is plotting. Now, who would have something like that as a doctrine? That you are 1.1, you smiling on the outside, but you plotting on me. Now, if you don't believe in Scientology, you are a 1.1. Anybody that don't believe is automatically a 1.1. I guess so. Now, and because Scientology, like many other religions, supposedly built on love and acceptance, they employ homophobic doctrine. The tone scale also aligns with sexual orientation. If someone is gay, they automatically fall into the covert hostility category, and they can only move up into heterosexuality and spiritual evaluation through auditing. So if you are gay, don't go over into that Scientology, because they're going to label you a 1.1. They're going to say your ass is smiling on the outside, but you plotting on the inside, and you can only go into heterosexuality. You can't go nowhere else. We're going to make you be straight. This is ridiculous. Now, in L. Ron Hubbard's book, Scientology, The History of Man, he goes deep into descriptions of incidents in our past lives. Because thetans are eternal entities, they have past lives that have experienced traumas throughout time. And as a result, people today have subconscious memories of past lives as everything. Now, he says that these past lives, we have been everything known to man, including clams. You heard me, clams. Clams, C-L-A-M-S, clams. Clams, atoms, cells in the process of mitosis, early photosynthetic organisms, and sloths, just to name a few. Sloths, S-L-O-T-H-S, sloths. He says we've been all those things. Okay? Now, the clam. Now, you want to know how do you think we are related to clams, and how he can even like minutely put us with that. He says that our jaws, our jawbone, our human jaw, that the hinges of the clam eventually became the hinges of the human jaw, and that by invoking your clam past, you can have a very real effect on a human today. Should you desire to confirm this, describe to some uninitiated person the death of a clam without saying what you're describing. Can you imagine a clam sitting on the beach, opening and closing its shell very rapidly? Make a motion with your thumb and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, the victim may grip his jaw with his hand and feel quite upset. He may even have a few teeth pulled. At the very least, he will argue as to whether or not the shell stays open at the end or closed. And he will, with no hint of death aspect of it, talk about the poor clam, and he will feel quite sad emotionally. This is in the book. This is in the book. Are you serious? I mean, it just sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo. I'm sorry, but I had to put it in there. He says, what did you just say? Sweetie, what did you just... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I just said. I just know this man says that we come from clams. Okay, I've heard everything, but clams, Now, he later warns in his book that discussion of these incidences with someone that is not into Scientology can cause havoc. Should you describe the clam to someone, you may get them to, they might go off on you, he says. I mean, I guess so. If you tell someone that you come from clams, I guess they are going to go off. And he says, don't discuss this with people that aren't in Scientology. Well, yeah, because no one else other than a Scientologist would be able to relate to such a foolish story. So why do you think celebrities are drawn to this? Well, L. Ron Hubbard established Project Celebrity in 1955. Could it be because they had money? Well, let's see. With a list of major stars who might be persuaded to put an attractive face on his organization, he had Project Celebrity. And it later became the celebrity centers that you hear about. You remember Jada said she went to the celebrity center? Well, it is described by church officials in their world as a special Church of Scientology that would cater to artists, politicians, leaders of industry, sports figures, and anyone with the power and vision to create a better world. The lavish center is in Los Angeles. It's known as the likeliest place to go in hopes of catching a famous Scientologist. If you go there, you might see Kirstie Alley, Priscilla Presley was a Scientologist, Giovanni Ribisi, Jenna Elfman, Elizabeth Moss, Jason Lee, Beck or Isaac Hayes. Now, when they say Jason Lee, they're talking about the celebrity. They're not talking about Jason Lee, the blogger. And Tom Cruise, John Travolta. You might see some of them. Now, Scientology provides, when you're a celebrity, what they do. Now, here's a story that I found an event where Tom Cruise was reported to have been there. And this was something that they had specifically for him. So there's been footage released about it, and it shows Tom Cruise attending the event. At this event, he leads a huge crowd of people, and they are saluting a portrait of L. Ron Hubbard because they worship him like he's God because he's the founder. Now, in this massive hall where this ceremony is taking place, it looks like a hall like you would go to the Oscars or, the Academy Awards or something like that. And at this ceremony, the main event, they are presenting Tom Cruise with a medal. And it's a medal called the Freedom Medal of Valor. Now, mind you, this medal was invented just for him. This is not an award. It's like basically a trophy. Like, when you give people just for participating, like kids, they didn't win nothing, but they just get some, make them feel good. Well, that's what this was. It was called the Freedom Medal of Valor. And it was just for him. They put it around his neck. It had this big old disc, this gold disc around his neck, and everyone was cheering and applauding. And apparently, because he's a celebrity, this is how they say they treat the celebrities when they're there. The members were told that they better have a effing smile on their face, and they provided an army of people to serve him. Basically, it was like cheap slave labor, because these people were only paid 40 cents an hour, and they were made to, like, you know, everything he wanted, you know, his every whim, they had to entertain it. Now, one member said that they tricked out his cars and his motorcycles. They spent a lot of money on Tom Cruise trying to appease him. And when Tom had a fantasy about running through a meadow with Nicole Kidman, he wanted to run through the meadow with flowers, and he wanted to, I don't know why, but they had this organization called the Sea Org, and it's basically like the Navy. Well, the people that are part of the Sea Org, they planted the meadow, and then they had to rip it up and replant it again because it didn't pass inspection. So just because he had a whim that he wanted to run through this meadow when he was married to Nicole Kidman, they had to rip it up and plant it again because it did not pass inspection. Now, secret sources have also revealed that when Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman were married, Nicole was judged as a suppressive person by their scoring system when they were doing these, when they sit there and they're grilled and they gotta go through these tests. Well, she was judged as a suppressive person, and her marriage to Tom Cruise was broken up due to the church's orders. The Miscavige dude, he said, no, she's a suppressive person, and they actually got him a new girlfriend, a pre-med student by the name of Nazanin Bonatti. Later, she became an actress, but she was actually recruited from within the church, and they gave her a makeover, and they actually delivered her to Tom Cruise. So this is a story that goes around that this is why him and Nicole Kidman broke up. It was actually the Church of Scientology. Now, clearly, Tom Cruise does not need a church to give him women, suck up to him, and do any of that. He's famous. So what is it, right? It's got to be more to it, Sweet Pea. I'm sorry, but just giving a man women, he's got money. And sucking up to him, he's got fans that could do that. What is it? Well, here's what the real situation is. Now, the stars, they have to, just like anybody else, just because they're celebrities, it doesn't mean anything. They still have to go in these sessions with this e-meter. It's an auditing session. And they record it, video record it, they audio record it, they keep notes about it. And it is actually used for blackmail. You've heard of that, right? That you go and you sit and you tell these people your inner dark secrets, and they're recording it. They have it all written down. They got transcripts of it. So should you want to leave, they will try to blackmail you with it. They ask them questions in these sessions like, do you have a secret that you are afraid they will find out? Now, of course, anybody's going to say yes. So if you've told these people secrets and there's videos of you doing that, I guess that would make you stay a member, wouldn't it? I bet you it would. Do you have a secret that you're afraid we'll find out? So that makes a person paranoid. It's like, how are you going to find out about my secrets? If I don't tell you my secrets, how are you going to? And if you think and you perceive this organization to be powerful, and you've seen what they've done to other people, that they've tried to ruin their reputation, and they've, I'm going to tell you a story in a little bit about someone that tried to expose them, Leah Remini. And then there was another person, the person that actually did an HBO documentary on this group. The church was against the documentary, so they had hundreds of their members send tweets about this, film. And they also, the person that produced the film, they exposed him and his father on the internet and tried to ruin their reputation by saying that they had, secrets on them, and they had things saying that they were into, things that they, probably weren't illicit things. So this church is really deep. That this is what they do. Leah Remini also said that they tried to blackmail her. And remember, she accused Jada. Remember when she went down to the Red Table Talk, she said that there's a thing called fair gaming you, where the same thing where we just talked about it, where you're smiling in my face but you're plotting on the inside. Well, she says, they have this thing where you're fair gaming, where you act like you're playing a game, or you act like something's a joke, or you act like, and really you're manipulating, or you're doing something else, being deceitful. And so, or when you're saying that she says she saw Jada at the Scientologist church and that she must be a Scientologist, or they were at Tom Cruise's house and they were playing a game. And it's just like she tried to expose it, and Jada lies and said, I wasn't doing that, or we weren't doing that. And she's like, Jada, you were fair gaming me. And she's, I promise you I wasn't fair gaming you. You remember that conversation they had on the Red Table Talk? Well, Jada's not going to admit that she's fair gaming someone, or that she is part of an organization that does such things and does such tactics. But it does coincide with the way she acts and the way she, she's woke, and she's lets her kids participate in anything, their heart's desire, whatever, she lets them participate. So this kind of like fits with the Church of Scientology. Jada did say that a lot of the she was permitted documents and teachings that a normal person would not be afforded, because she had money and who she was able to get access to these things, and she used them to create her own school. So, you guys just have to do the research, and you'll find out that these celebrities are connected with a lot of these organizations, right? So now there is no other group more synonymous in Hollywood than the Illuminati. Now, do you believe in the Illuminati? Now, what is the Illuminati? What exactly is it? I know a lot of people think they know, but in a historical sense, the term Illuminati refers to the Bavarian Illuminati. It was a secret society that operated for only a decade back in 1776 to 1785. Now, this organization was founded by a German law professor who believed strongly in Enlightenment ideas and sought to promote those ideas, but only amongst elites. He wanted to educate Illuminati members in reason, philanthropy, and other secular values so that they could influence political decisions when they came into power. It was pretty ambitious for 6 or 9 guys, because it was only 6 or 9 of them, but they really wanted to take over the world. But the Illuminati's goals and reputation often exceeded their means. They didn't have the money. In its early days, the group was just a handful of people, and even at its largest, it only consisted of somewhere between 650 to 2,500 members. Now, the group grew to that size because it started merging with other groups. Illuminati members joined Freemason lodges to recruit members for their own competing secret society. Now, what did the Illuminati believe? There were 2 sides to the historical Illuminati: their odd rituals and their ideas. The Illuminati did plenty of unusual things, odd things. They used symbols like the owl, adopted pseudonyms to avoid identification, and they had complicated hierarchy. And they had levels too. They were called novice, Minerval, and illuminated Minerval, and those were further divided into ranks. Now, in the beginning, Illuminati members, they didn't trust anyone over 30 years old, because they said that anybody over 30 was too old and they would be set in their ways. Okay. Now, there are reports that they was doing rituals. Members, they was really paranoid about anybody finding out, because they was in there doing rituals and doing things that people would think, wasn't quite ethical back in those days. So they had to keep their identity secret. So that's where we get this whole secret society. And what was the secret society? Because the rituals and the practices that they were taking part in, it was a little taboo. So they had to, keep it on the low. Now, while they were forming these groups and they were, they had these strange ideas and they did unusual things, they promoted a worldview that reflected Enlightenment ideas like rational thought and self-rule, anti-clerical and anti-royal. They back then they had the royal people in 1700s and all that. They had the kings and rulers and all that. So they were anti-establishment. They were against the monarchy. Now, the Illuminati were closer really to revolutionaries than world rulers, since they sought to infiltrate and upset powerful institutions, like I said, like the monarchy. So, they did not believe in political things and politics. Right. So, sorry guys. I'm over here trying to fix my darn camera. Give me 1 second. I was trying to fix my stuff. All right, here we go. There we go. Sorry. Okay. So, do we think that they actually managed to control the world? Because remember, I said that they wanted to control the world. Now, people think that they were successful at doing that because they actually merged with the Freemasons, and they were taking over back then. They were taking over some of their groups and their buildings. So they think that they were mildly successful at best in becoming influential, though of course there are those who believe that the Illuminati did successfully take over the world and they still control it today. That they control the music, they control Hollywood. Do you think so? Now, the Illuminati were actually less feared than the Freemasons. In 1828, they had the Anti-Masonic Party, and they were based on an opposition to the Freemasons. And though the party died out, Freemasons remained a focal point for paranoia in America. And because the Illuminati recruited many members in Europe through Freemason lodges, the two groups are often confused for each other, which is why people say the Illuminati still exists, because they get it confused with Freemasonry. Or they say Freemasons are the Illuminati, which you will see Jay-Z, Rick Ross, these people making Masonic symbols, and people say that is the Illuminati. But it really is because the Illuminati and Freemasons, they merged back in the day, back in the 1700s. Okay. Now, to some degree, Freemason paranoia grew out of the Freemasons' influence in the United States. Many founding fathers were members, and some key American symbols may have been derived from the Freemasons. There's a strong argument that the floating eye on the dollar, the Eye of Providence above a pyramid, comes from Freemasonry. Now, there's also an argument that it was meant as a Christian symbol, and some believe that it is actually a symbol of the Illuminati. So why do we think that the Illuminati still exists today and controls Hollywood? Y'all let me know in the chat and in the comments. If you catch the replay, let me know. Why do you think that the Illuminati still exists today? Now, if they were talking about enlightenment and controlling the world and such things, child, y'all gotta excuse me. If they talking about controlling the world and all these type of things, then we would say that is an Illuminati situation going on, because the Illuminati believed in enlightenment. They believed in, the whole illuminated, and we hear celebrities saying it all the time. We hear Beyonce, we hear Jay-Z, we hear them making reference. We see them making these symbol signs and all of this. So let me know what you guys think. It's Illuminati, Freemasonry, all of it wound up into one. Now, you know that we always have to end this with a story. Okay, we have a story time, and we also have, it's always someone that is, was in the industry, or they went to a party. Remember the last video, we had a story about a Hollywood mansion party and what wound up happening. Well, we have another story that I found while doing research on this topic, and this story is provided by a Jill Richardson. She says, the time I got coffee with Hollywood Satanists. So we are going to read her vlog, okay? This is the time that she got coffee with Hollywood Satanists. So in the interest of stemming the QAnon conspiracy theories about Satanist pedophile rings in Hollywood, I'd like to share my experience with actual Satanists in Hollywood. The truth is so much more boring than the completely false conspiracy theories. She says it's worth starting with the original satanic panic of the 1980s. I recommend the account related in the podcast you're wrong about. Okay, so she says, wait a minute, let me make sure I could read this. Let me look at this real quick. I might not even be able to read this, child. Oh no, I can't read this. I'm sorry. I can't read it. My video will definitely be striked. I should have looked a little bit more into it. I'm so sorry. No, we cannot read that story. Let's just talk in the chat. It has a little bit, it's a little bit too much. I can't read that story. It's a little bit too much, honey, and YouTube they will flag my video, honey. They will take my content down. DD. Garrison says, so nice to hear content and not bully basher. I don't know what that means, but I'm glad that you're here. I don't do bully bashing, so I don't know what videos we don't do bully bashing. We always have content. But thank you, Garrison. It's nice that you're here. But yeah, what do you guys think about, we can't even read that story. I didn't even, Child was doing so much research and putting all this stuff together, and I seen it and I did a little peek. I was like, okay, this would be cool. But now once I really was getting ready to read it, I can't read this. They will flag my video. They will flag my video. We cannot read that. So what do you guys think? Do you believe in the Illuminati? What do you think about the Nexiums, that group? What do you think about this? What do you think the draw is to Scientology? I mean, if you had spent that kind of money and you heard that kind of story about some galactic, what? $128,000 I paid to hear that. I'm walking out the door. I'm out the door, but I don't know what the draw of it is. I think a lot of times when they get up into these Hollywood lifestyles, you get access to money, you get access to power, you get access to prestige, all these things. You get bored. And, they start dibbling and dabbling with learning new things and wanting to be a part. They get invited to this party and invited to this lecture. And now you're getting exposed to shit that you never heard of, and it's really deep, dark, And so in the quest to become illuminated and in the quest to become woke, you stumble upon some real deep stuff. And it's like, oh no. And now that you've seen it, now you can't unsee it. Now you're trapped. Now the blackmail comes into play, because you done seen something that you should not see. Now they're going to try to put you with it. So, and then some of them just go ahead and join in on it, So Hollywood is a dark place. It is a dark place. Oh, Garrison. Other channels seem to be bullying, but you have true content. It's refreshing. I know these streets are, we have a lot of different things that we do, and I try to stay out of it too. Sometimes I'm guilty of lashing out, and, I'm human and I've done that, but I have made it a point to pivot and turn from that because I want to give you guys content. I mean, I'm not the best at storytelling. I try to come up with different things, and I hope you guys appreciate it. I do the best that I can do. But some of this content, like, it is really dark. You've seen in the beginning. I do think that YouTube did something with my stream. I'm probably going to have to go and check when we get done with this video, and it probably is now limited ads, or they've probably made it ineligible for ads. Matter of fact, let me look and check. I can check right now and let you know. I can check you and let you know right now what they had done did. I can tell you, because believe it or not, there are like hot words that are like keywords, and they flag certain words, and if they can tell that they're being said, and they will flag your video. Yeah, it's now on limited. It was on green. It's now on limited ad suitability. So I have to request that it is reviewed. And if it is found to be appropriate, then they will allow ads to play on it. But it was not like that in the beginning. It was not like that in the beginning of the stream. And now they changed it to limited ads. So, yep. Messing with you, he knows you, warning us, don't crack the code. Right. Well, anytime you telling some type of truth, it's always, they don't want, they always want to throw a monkey, a wrench in there somewhere. So that's all I got, guys, for part 2. I think there's probably one more deep dive that I can do, aspect of it. It might not be as long of a video, because it's only but so far we can go on YouTube. I don't have a Patreon. I don't have an OnlyFans where I can do uncensored things. So it's only so far I can go on here. So we can only beat a dead horse, but so far. And we've taken it as far as we probably can take it on YouTube, so I appreciate you guys hanging with me, and I appreciate you being here tonight. It is almost 1 a.m. Yeah, they got me, Keita. They got me, girl. I triggered them, honey. Hey, Red Label. Nope, swirl gang down. They got me. They struck me right in the middle of my video. They said, girl. So that's all I got, you guys. Thank you for watching. This has been another edition of the Sweet Pea Diaries. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, we'd like to thank Bright Cellars Wines for sponsoring this video. Well, at least we got Bright sponsors money, okay? We may not get YouTube money, but we got Bright sponsors money. Bright sponsors. Bright Cellars Wines. We got our sponsors money. So y'all going down there and click the link and buy some wine, okay? Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye, guys.